One of the most notable changes in the world of investing during the pandemic was a sharp increase in younger investors. This is primarily thanks to the introduction of easy-to-use online investment apps like Robinhood and crypto exchange apps. According to a study from FINRA Investor Education Foundation, a large crop of new investors entered the market at the start of the pandemic. The survey conducted with NORC at the University of Chicago also found 38% of respondents who opened a non-retirement investment account in 2020 actually never had any investment account before. However, it wasn't all smooth sailing for these new investors. A study by Magnify Money found over half of young investors have regrets from last year. Well, joining us now to give us his advice on investing in this ever-evolving world is Brendan Caldwell, Director of Caldwell Securities Ltd. Brendan, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Thank you. Isn't it great to be young because you only have regrets that go back 1 year? You get to north of 50, you got regrets that go back decades. Being young is wonderful, isn't it? Sorry,
Definitely.
You had questions.
Definitely, Brendan. Now, as we mentioned, more than half of young investors have regrets from last year. Now, this was especially when it came to not investing enough money. So how do you avoid regretting your investment?
Well, start by investing some money. I would be surprised if, given the volatility, particularly the last 6 months, and the amount of Bitcoin that was purchased north of $50,000 a coin, US, that all of the regrets are, oh gosh, I should have bought more. I think the first way to avoid regrets is to actually do something. Not everything that you could possibly do, and by no means should a young person borrow money to put it in the stock or any other sort of volatile market, because young people do have one advantage the old do not. They have time. You don't have to make all your money in a single year. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
And what would you say is the best investment at this time in terms of low, medium, and high risk investments?
Well, people put these in nice categories, and the thing that is low risk until it's total risk. So things that people have thought were low risk, like mortgage-backed securities in the financial crisis, were low risk until they weren't. Collateralized debt obligations were low risk until they weren't. So lots of things that were supposed to be low risk don't work out that way. So there is two types of investments. There is 100% government guaranteed, put it under a rock. And then there's investments that have some risk, and you can only guess at what that risk is before the fact. You only know it afterwards. So my thought is the important thing is to do something and then do something more and do something more. Build on whatever it is you're doing over time, because that's what young people have a lot of.
And meanwhile, we're seeing the markets really react negatively to world events. We saw that happening during the war in Ukraine. That's still going on, the pandemic, we're seeing inflation. So is this the best time to invest, Brendan, or should we wait a bit?
You should not wait. It's not because I know the market's going up, but if you're taking it from the point of view of someone who didn't do anything last year, they have regrets that they didn't do something last year, which is perhaps the question they were answering. Do something. Don't do everything, but let's say you have $10,000 to invest. Invest 1,000 of it. What in? High, medium risk? Well, invest in a company in which you know something about. The other advantage young people have is they know about these up and coming companies far more than I do because they actually use them. I'm not on any sort of social media except Ancestry. Yes, you can look up my DNA, but not what I had for lunch this afternoon. So if there's a new great high-tech thing, put $1,000 into that. And if it does well, you could say, thank goodness I have some money in that, and you can put another 1,000 in. If it does badly, if you find that yourself in a market that just keeps getting worse, then put another 1,000 in, because you will have the ability to dollar cost average your way, to take a fixed dollar amount and work out an average cost over time that will give you, if your investment is even halfway good, a decent entry price averaged out over a period of time.
Sounds like a little bit can go a long way, Brendan. A quick 45 seconds left here, but we're also seeing interests in real estate, investing in real estate. So how does investing in stocks compare to investing in real estate?
You can't live in a stock. And a stock is an intangible investment. It doesn't have any actual real substance to it. most people's largest investment is in their home, or at least most older people. Younger people are wondering if they can ever buy a home. Well, if you think about it a little bit, like you think about Canada, you've got Vancouver and Toronto's real estate has gone through the roof, but there's other places, maybe even Montreal, where they haven't had the same move. So real estate has the advantage of being real. You can live in it, and it is a bit of a longer term investment, which isn't as liquid as stocks, but over time can have very good returns if one thinks about it strategically.
Always great advice, Brendan. Thank you again for joining us today on Forum Daily.
Thank you, Nima.